Module number 5, shooting church videos. In this module, we're discussing the studio setting for a video, which many of us had to work with during the 2020 year. Had to get creative in the way that we shared our content, shared our sermons, our worship. And so this is to shoot a video for prepared material for showing at your church services on Sunday mornings. This is not the live stream content, but some of the things we learn here will bleed over into the live stream. Here's just a picture of what my studio looked like this past year, 2020, and some of the content that took place there. We had a weekly worship session. I posted multiple videos that went live, and I had a studio in our choir room. And then also this is the same room without the backdrop. My pastor doing his Wednesday nights material. Also the same room, exact same setup except with a green screen. I did this for our youth Valentine's banquet. We normally do it live in person, but we did it online because of COVID. And we did a little drive-through dinner thing. And played this video on the screen for them and folks on the line as well. So same studio, same setup. You can see the difference between these three. That is one shot, same camera position, just different angle, same camera, same room, just different backdrop, different lighting, obviously different setting. But a bunch of this stuff matters. So starting out with your video, you need to discuss equipment. And one of the most important things, and honestly, most often, one of the best ways to notice an amateur video setup is the lighting. So often the lighting is an issue. And it's not just having lighting, but having the right amount of lighting. You don't want to have too much light, but typically more light the better. Proximity, how close the lighting is to the subject, what it actually draws, and placement, where it's positioned. There's different types of lights and different types of angles that you can get with those lights. But the better control you have, the better your video is going to be as a whole. Audio, I forget exactly the statistic, but it's something like 80% of people will not watch a video if the audio is bad. Like they won't even give it a chance. But if the video is okay, the lighting is okay, but the audio is good, they're willing to suffer through the other parts. Audio is honestly probably the most important thing in your video, and you want to make sure to have a good location of your microphone. Clarity is the goal. You want clear audio. I'm using a shotgun mic that you'll see a picture of in just a minute, pointed right directly at my mouth at this point in time. There's different types of microphones that you can use, of course. But placement, you've got to have your microphone placed so you can get the appropriate level necessary. Mic selection, like I said, there's different types of microphones for different types of uses. A shotgun microphone is very useful in multiple different situations, but especially if you want the microphone to not be seen. In those shots that you saw earlier, there was a shotgun microphone in 2 of those shots. I'll give you an example. Right here, there's a microphone just under my pastor's third button there, but you can't see it, and it's picking up really good audio. Here I used a different type of microphone because you knew I was singing and I wanted better vocal audio for that, but I wasn't as worried about you seeing it. In this shot, it was better to not see the microphone. Same thing here. There's a microphone here, but it's hanging over on like a boom mic stand. But anyways, placement, selection. And then you have to have a recording device. Like I'm recording this video right now. I've got this running through a interface into my software that's recording. I'm using my live stream setup actually to create this video right now, but I've got a recording device that's interfacing to that. I've also got a field recorder. It's called a Zoom H4n. They've got a bunch of different versions of that now. I've had it for over a decade at this point, but it's been a really useful tool to record multiple different settings. So you need a recording device to record and capture that audio. And then lastly, and obviously I would argue the most important, you can't have a video without a camera. Your position of your camera, your placement of your camera matters. The angle matters. There's a thing called depth of field, which is you want some depth to your shot. You want to be able to see clearly your subject, but it's also nice to see your background. But based off how you have the lens positioned or adjusted, if you have an adjustable lens, you can get different types of focus and fields in that. Your angle, your position, you can have multiple shot angles from multiple cameras, which gives a little bit of variety to your video. AF and MF, automatic focus and manual focus. Automatic focus is very convenient. It's great for doing photography. It can work for shooting videos, and I'd recommend not getting too caught up in this detail when you first get started. But manual focus allows you to really hone in on an exact picture, exactly the depth of field that you're looking for. Exposure is incredibly, incredibly important. You need to learn your camera, your device. Let me express this. My first probably 7 to 8 years of shooting video, I did not have a professional camera. I was using my iPhone, my iPad, and some other devices that I had similar of quality, just trying to learn how to shoot video and learn very quickly how to do these things. And you really, really want to make sure to understand exposure, and you can even do that on these tablets and phones and stuff now as well. But exposure is everything. It's the how the picture actually looks, the quality of it, your composition. So there's certain rules to shooting video. You can watch a lot of videos on YouTube about video composition or film composition and some rules to follow that, but it makes a difference. You know, you want your subject to be either centered. There's the rule of thirds. There's 3 different segments within a shot that you want your subjects to be in. Things like that you can look at and you'll start noticing quality in the composition. White balance is directly tied into exposure. It affects your exposure. Your white balance is basically your coloration of your shot, and you want to make sure that your white balance is balanced for the room, for the lighting, for everything. So on an SLR, DSLR camera, you'll be able to adjust and make those changes as needed. This is an example of, this is a more simplified version of what I was using during COVID, but this is essentially the idea. This is the back corner of my choir room. This shot, this equipment right here, I'll show you in this last photo, is actually the exact setup that I used for this shot. Again, this is a little bit grainy because this is a screenshot of a video, but this is the exact setup that I used for that video. The same microphone you see here is the one I'm recording this video right now with. You can see my laptop on a stand. You can see the camera in position. It's all pretty close to me, the subject. I also had a position where I was able to focus on a stand. So when I sat down, my camera was in focus with me. You can see the GVM. That's my light, my one light that I had. I had a backdrop light to keep the shadow off as much as I could in my video. But this is a pretty basic setup, but it makes a difference. So you see my audio source is clearly picking me up. My camera's in position. I've got my script right there in front of me. I just recently bought a teleprompter. I'm going to start getting into that a little bit, but you can still look down at your notes if you're sharing a video of content. People understand, just like when you give a sermon on a Sunday morning or Wednesday night, the content is key, not looking exactly at the camera the entire time. But anyways, that's just a quick picture. Moving on, set up the shoot. You need to have the right cables in place. You want your cables to not be in the shot. Like I said, staging, good composition, rule of thirds, symmetry. The position of your shot matters. The composition basics, look some more rules of those up, more concepts of that up online, but it matters. Your composition matters. A good tripod. You want to have a solid, stable, but smooth ability to get the exact position you need. Trust me, I've done videos before without a tripod, and it's infuriating. And you have to have somebody hold the camera, and trust me, it looks really wobbly and not that great. And also, if you try to put your camera on a book, on a table stand or something, you have to like adjust your whole room around the position of that camera. So a good tripod is necessary. Seating and standing, sitting and standing, where you're going to sit on a stool. It's good to base the shot off of that. It's good to base your shot off when you're standing. If you're going to do a variety of things, make sure your shot is set for that variety. And then another really important thing is avoid extra sounds. Car keys is definitely one of those things. Any jangling sounds. Spare change. A squeaky chair is also a really common thing, like a stool or something you're sitting on can really squeak a lot, and that can really, really distract from the audio. Running the shoot. Like I said, I shot that video. You'll see a picture of it again at the end, where I ran it completely solo by myself, and you can do that. I would recommend when you're first getting into this, get some help with somebody who can help you run things and test things, and y'all learn this together. Learn how to do these things together, but also be prepared. The sequence, the script, the shots. Trust me, when you first get into this, especially if you're preparing content and sharing content, a sermon, a devotional, a song, a performance, be prepared. Trust me, there's nothing more exhausting and frustrating than showing up not prepared and realizing, take number 75, take number 25. Like, it's not that it has to be perfect or flawless. You also get really, really particular when you start videoing things, and you want everything to be exactly, as it was. But be prepared, a teleprompter or not. Again, I've made it up to this point without a teleprompter. I've done some different things that have helped, similar to a teleprompter, some other creative things that I've done, but it's a good thing to have. You can use it. There's a lot of apps that can run off your phone or your iPad or your tablet, but key is content. Key is being prepared. Quick cuts. So you want to shoot your video in such a way, especially when you're first starting out, to have pauses. Now, I've got background music right now playing, so obviously this pause would not work. But if you had a pause with no audio, I'll just do an example. If I pause the audio here, that would be a great place to be able to do a cut. And you can record your content in a way that allows you to cut and splice things if you need to. If you have more than one shot, you have the ability to also kind of alternate between those two. But if you need to shoot the video, you can shoot the video in segments, and people will understand. You can edit in a way. We'll talk about editing here soon. In such a way that helps. Animation and motion. Make sure to be animated. I'm a pretty chill guy, a pretty calm person, and so I have to remind myself when I'm preparing things, use your hands. Use different inflections of voices and tones and pitches as you talk, and move up and down. This is something I'm not the greatest at, but learn how to animate and move with the content as you present things. Variation in pitch, as I just said, the pitch and tempo and the speed at which you speak. And if you move around with the content, that helps people follow better. Shooting with flexibility. This is really important. As I said, I kind of got ahead of myself here. Leaving space in between sections of content to allow yourself to edit better and it's more smooth later. Shoot the video with the editing process in mind. I know this is difficult when you're first getting involved in this, but learn to start thinking the way you plan on editing as you shoot things. Get the best performance, the lighting, audio, and the editing will be a lot easier. Don't just think, oh, hey, we can just fix that later. No, do everything you can to do a really high quality video, audio, and lighting there at the beginning, because your editing will also improve over time. But shoot it the most clear and awesome as you can. Things to avoid, especially in the beginning. I've used green screens. I'm pretty new to those, but they're pretty difficult. They're a challenge to light correctly and get clarity in your keying and your editing. But I would recommend staying away from those at first. It's not worth it in most occasions. the temptation working with your pastor. My pastor started having a lot of fun with the green screen during COVID, but we were in different circumstances, and we had to get creative a little bit sometimes. But I think at first it's good to avoid the green screen if you can. Background noise. You definitely want to set up your situation to not have as much background noise. You want clarity, especially in your speaking or your singing instrumental parts. And also avoid rushing through the process. Avoid not learning from your situation and not allowing yourself to make sure you covered all your bases as you shoot the video. Again, white balance issues, that's a common thing. And honestly, this video right here that I shot just recently for one of my classes I'm taking online as a PhD student. I'm also a youth pastor, so I kind of have the youth pastor look here. But a good friend of mine, actually, I showed him the video. He goes, yeah, your white balance, I think, was off a little bit. And so you can kind of see, in your editing, you can change things. But again, it's good to focus your shot as clearly as you can in the beginning. So white balance really matters. And again, the goal here is to make sure you just give yourself a chance to learn and grow in the process, learn and work with things. Like I said, this video right here, as simple of a shot as is with all the lighting and the clarity, was this simple of a setup right here. It wasn't anything crazy fancy, but I was able to produce this shot, this video. The audio sounded great. I'm really clear. And so again, just give yourself time to learn the ropes and learn the things. And just know it's a learning process. And thank you so much for sticking around for this time.